Okay, Bill, what we want to know now, all of us actors, we want to know, how do we register for Bill Dance Casting?
We have registration every Tuesday and Wednesday at Bill Dance Casting. If you want more information on that, it's you can go to BillDanceCasting.com, or you can call 818-725-4209. And it's my voice, and it'll give you detailed information of when we do it, what you should wear, how long it takes, directions of how to get to our place. It's very explicit.
Now, I want to ask you one more question, Bill. And I think I might not got a chance to actually ask you this. But how do producers and directors get in touch with you for their projects?
Well, going back to when I began, like when I was standing in on a project, I didn't realize people were watching me. This is why I'm going to segue into that.
Right.
And I didn't know people were watching me, and I was just doing my job. I was standing in for this actor on a project many, many years ago. And before, like the next to the last day, this producer came to me and said, I want you to do this on my next project. And I said, well, do what? And the person called me in about a week or so, and they explained that. And I thought, well, I've never done this before. And they said, well, I think you can do it. So they gave me an opportunity. So as is in our business, you build on things. I did that next project. There were people, a director who worked on that project. The producer went on to do something else. So as you do a good job, and you work hard and you create the artistry that they want, people start calling you for their next project. That producer may know another producer. That director has dinner with another director going, you know, I used this guy on my last project. I think you should use this guy. And thus, that's how it snowballs. How I met Ron Howard, I was doing a movie called Billy Bathgate in New York. They had someone else doing it. They were having problems. They rushed me back there to take over the project in the middle of the wardrobe fittings. And I did the project in upstate New York and then continued it in New York and down into North Carolina. Fantastic people. Arlene Donovan was one of the producers, Dustin Hoffman, Bruce Willis, Nicole Kidman. Bob Benton was the director of the project. And one of the accountants I met, she came on in North Carolina, Kathy McGill. And I met with her, and we became friends down there, and she saw the work that I had done. Then when it came time for Ron to do Far and Away, Todd Hollowell, who's his executive producer, Kathy, again, was the controller or the main accountant. So they were going, well, does anyone know someone who could do this casting, who could go to Montana with us to put together the Oklahoma land rush scenes? So Kathy, the work I'd done on Billy Bathgate, she recommended me, and I went in and I met with them. And then I tried to explain how I would do it, you know, that I was sensitive and the monumentality of the project, and we would need to bring people from all over the country, because I've done things like that. And I got that project. So then I did Far and Away, and then as Ron has gone on to work, when you do hopefully a good job, he remembers you and, you know, so to speak, they call when they go to do a project. You hope they call. And they have. They've been very loyal. And again, it puts a lot of pressure on me on the other side of that, because they know your work. They expect you to do a good job. So the expectation is there. So that's a lot of pressure. That kind of tightens things up a little bit. That makes you not do any more work than you would normally do, but you know that it's always back there. And so it's by referencing. People see my work. We're given credit, believe it or not, in movies. People have seen the styles of work that we do. We're sort of known for doing the difficult projects. I did a movie with Ken Russell, the famous English director. I did a movie called Whore with him. And when I met Ken and interviewed with him, he was saying, now I want to put together all these crack whores and all this realistic kind of stuff. And then that night I went to see the Bolshoi was in town. Being a ballet dancer, I went to see it. I'm picking up my tickets at Will Call. And his producer's there standing next to me and go, Bill, what are you doing here? Well, I'm here to see Swan Lake tonight. And he said, look out the window. And I looked right out the doorway, and Ken Russell was there. He was a former dancer. He, too, was going there that night to see Swan Lake. So that clicked. Why are you here? I'm here. Then when he found out that I was a dancer and I understood about the swan and they're very treacherous animals and the whole thing, whether he was equivalent, the whore, to a swan, I don't know, but he knew that I had the detail. You're of the same cloth, the same taste, the same artistry. It's like, you're here, I'm here. Well, I made a choice to be here. So did I. I'm here to see the artistry of the work. And then when they find out your background, they go, well, I think this is something that we want. They want the experience. It's not someone who just has never acted or never danced or whatever. You want to bring everything that you've done. When you go to an art gallery, why do you study a painting? There's a story that I was at the LA County Art Museum, and Dick Silbert, who was a big production designer, I was in there looking at a painting, and it was during the middle of the week, and I just wanted to be quiet to look at this impressionist painting that I was looking at, just going into my own world, just studying the nuancing of it. All of a sudden, I hear this baby crying. Someone had brought this baby that was screaming in an art gallery. Needless to say, I was distracted because I'm very sensitive to sound, so I kept hearing this babe going, who brought an infant to an art gallery? I was like kind of appalled by this because I'm trying to be quiet and very reverent and very,
looking deep.
Yeah, into the painting and very, meditative in the whole thing. The individual comes around the painting, and it was Dick Silbert, and he had his little baby with him. He walked right smack in front of the painting, and with the baby in his arms, he went light, color, composition. And he invited the child, even at that age, into the painting. The child became very quiet, very still. He was between paintings. But the child was asked to immerse themselves into the painting, and even at that age, just months old, the child became very quiet. He was teaching. So even at that age, and then he came over and we said hello, and I got it. I got it. You know what I'm saying? Because you can show someone something, and many times, every once in a while, they get it, and you can see the journey that takes place. They start taking that dive within themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then there are times that people go, well, I just didn't get it, or so what? And that's okay, too.
Right.
It's just not the right time. And all of a sudden, in its own proper time, it will happen, where they will go on that experience, that night sea journey, where the story will unfold to them, and they will lose and immerse themselves into something when the time is right. I mean, it's a gift to be able to do that. You can teach yourself to do it. You have to be willing to take that dive into it, if you will. So in terms of my work, I get so nervous doing it. People know the work that we do. We do get calls from people. Joel Schumacher I work with a lot. I did 8mm with him. I had to create that whole sex world, the underneath thing, and I did.
Yeah.
He looked at me and he said, are you sure you know? I said, well, I don't know what it is, but I tell you, by the time I'm done with this, I will show you some stuff. And I did. And then when it was all done, I was ready to walk away from it because it was a night sea journey. I mean, I went to the Children of the Night, all these real children organizations, and pulled the reform kids on the street, the ones that were in rehab, and brought them into the project.
Right.
And those were stories. So you don't see this. You just think that these are people that are just registered with someone. And we do. We have the people that we use, for lawyers and upscale people.
Right.
But every once in a while, when you do something real that's not in your files, are you going to go out and do the legwork and find this realism and bring it into the project? That's the detail.